Welcome to the Megacast. I'm Tyler Kieft, welcoming you to our live 5 days a week look into everything Oakland County. Today we'll be talking to many people from across the county, including leaders of nonprofits, therapists, and more about issues related to everything happening in Oakland County and around the state of Michigan on our 2-hour program. The first hour is all Oakland County. The second hour of the program is the Michigan Megacast. We hope you enjoy our show. The Oakland County Megacast is broadcast on a variety of television, radio, and web outlets, including our flagship stations, Civic Center TV, 89.3 Lakes FM, and My Michigan TV. All that information can be found on our website at civiccentertv.com by clicking on our Megacast link. You'll find all of our programs on demand and find each individual interview as well. Then let's head over to our news page at civiccentertv.com by clicking on our local news link, where we have links to the most up-to-date information on COVID-19 from reliable expert resources at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, and the Oakland County Health Division to help keep you up to date on everything you need to know about the spread of COVID-19, precautionary tactics that you may or may not need to employ in your daily life, such as masking and social distancing, as well as vaccinations and booster shots. Also on our news page, we feature articles from many journalistic outlets across the state of Michigan to keep you up to date on everything that you need to know about COVID-19 and other stories making headlines throughout the Great Lakes state. Our top story today is from Bridge, Michigan's Robin Erb. With Roe versus Wade overturned, Michigan has become a quote-unquote abortion haven. For now, at least. A U.S. Supreme Court ruling on Friday striking down Roe versus Wade and leaving such decisions to states will likely increase abortions in Michigan by attracting patients from states where abortion is banned or soon will be banned, according to experts. That's because Michigan is among 24 states in which abortions are, at least for now, still legal. Michigan does have a 1931 law that bans abortions in most instances, but re-implementation of that law was recently blocked by a Michigan judge, and it's unclear when a higher court, that most likely being the Michigan Supreme Court, will weigh in. In the meantime, Michigan abortion providers said they've been scrambling to retain existing staff, hire new personnel, and find additional medical supplies in a supply chain still gummed by the pandemic. Quote, "It will be us and Illinois and thousands of desperate pregnant people across the country trying to find access," and close quote, in the Midwest, said Dr. Sarah Wallet, Chief Medical Officer of Planned Parenthood of Michigan, to Bridge, Michigan last week. Providers say clinics are starting to see more women from Texas, where abortion is banned after 6 weeks, and Oklahoma, where it's outright banned. Even before the court's ruling was foreshadowed by a leaked draft of the opinion in May, women from Ohio were among the out-of-state patients seeking abortions at Northland Family Planning Centers, said Renee Shalian, founder of the 3-clinic operation in Southfield, Sterling Heights, and Westland. Quote, "Some of them from Ohio are medication abortion patients or early surgical patients who couldn't get in to a clinic closer to them sooner," and close quote, she said. Ohio requires 2 visits to obtain an abortion, an in-person visit to obtain information, followed by a second visit to obtain the actual abortion itself. Quote, "They come into Michigan after getting their information on the internet, and it takes only 1 visit to the clinic, and it's less than an hour from Toledo," Shalian said, and close quote. Michigan also could see increases from Indiana, where a Republican legislature vowed to take quick action if Roe was overturned, and Wisconsin as well. Out-of-state interest in Michigan is not new. The number of non-residents seeking abortions in the state has tripled in the past decade, from 531 in 2012 to 1,665 last year, though they remain a small percentage of the roughly 30,000 abortions performed in the Great Lakes state last year, according to state data. Planned Parenthood and Northland said they are training current staff in preparation for rising volumes. For instance, medical assistants that usually focus on family planning or other aspects of sexual or reproductive health are being trained to help with abortion recovery, Wallet said. Quote, "These plans have been in motion for months," and close quote, according to Shalian. Here's some of Michigan's complicated future regarding abortions and abortion law. In Michigan, a 1931 criminal statute remains on the books banning abortions except when the life of the mother is at risk. That law became unenforceable after Roe versus Wade in 1973, but over the years, abortion opponents worked to ensure that the law remained in wait to be resurrected in case Roe versus Wade was ever overturned. But as Bridge reported, a Michigan Court of Claims judge issued an injunction last month suspending the 1931 law from taking effect upon the fall of Roe versus Wade. The decision in suit brought by Planned Parenthood undoubtedly will be fought to the Michigan Supreme Court. Abortion rights activists are also fighting on other fronts, launching a petition drive that would, if passed by voters, create a state constitutional amendment guaranteeing broad reproductive freedoms, including abortion. Separately, Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer asked the state Supreme Court to declare a right to abortion in the current language of the state constitution. These efforts, if successful, could make permanent Michigan's role as a quote-unquote safe haven state, a prospect that worries Genevieve Marnin, legislative director for the Right to Life of Michigan. From haven to ban, there's no way of predicting the volume of out-of-state patients following Friday's ruling. And given the uncertainty surrounding the fate of Michigan's 1931 statute and other legal efforts, there's no guarantee that Michigan won't eventually also ban abortions outright or in some cases. In that case, said Shalian, the founder of Northland Clinics, she and other state providers may set up operations in states where abortion remains legal to support Michigan patients. Quote, "That's definitely one of the backup plans," end closed quote, she said. There is precedent for that after Texas passed law making it difficult to obtain abortions. Whole Women's Health, which had clinics in Texas, set up shop near the Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport, where it provides abortions to people from Texas and Oklahoma. Providers say they could help Michigan women needing abortions in other ways as well. Getting them to other states would require funds for travel, hotels, even childcare in some cases. Organizations such as the National Network of Abortion Funds use donations to help pregnant people access care out of state. Michigan's chapter Reclaim MI Win Fund, which relies mostly on small pledges, the average donation is $25 to $100 to assist pregnant people who may have trouble paying for procedures or associated costs such as travel or childcare at Northland Family Planning Clinics in Metro Detroit. While abortion rights supporters inundated these funds with quote-unquote rage giving after the Supreme Court draft was leaked in May, Elizabeth Nash, who tracks state policy for Guttmacher, said donations may not be sustainable. Quote, "I'm not sure how long we can crowdsource abortion access," end close quote, she told Bridge, Michigan. A national scramble for abortion services has already resulted in backups in states that do provide abortions. Wait times for appointments have stretched from 2 to 3 days to over 2 weeks, said one of these officials. On Friday, outside of a recently renovated Planned Parenthood clinic in Ann Arbor, anti-abortion protester Paul Dabrowski said he was grateful for the Supreme Court ruling, but understood the fight would continue. Quote, "We know that abortion will remain legal in Michigan, at least for now," end close quote. Dabrowski, a retired chemist from Saline who has prayed and stood vigil outside of the clinic for years, said the key now is fighting the petition drive to enshrine abortion rights in the state constitution. Quote, "Whatever the future holds," he said, quote, "we will be here no matter what," end closed quote. Also making headlines on our CivicCenterTV.com local news page from the Detroit News is Mike Martindale. The Crumbly family is due back in court seeking sanctions and limits on the prosecutor. James and Jennifer Crumbly are set to be back in court on Monday as they seek a gag order against Oakland County prosecutor Karen McDonald for alleged inappropriate pretrial publicity in their manslaughter cases tied to 4 deaths involved in the Oxford High School shooting that was conducted, of course, by their son. Prosecutor McDonald has indicated that she would have no objection to a gag order on defense and prosecution lawyers, but she wouldn't stop her advocacy for the public and public safety. She said the Crumblys' lawyers raised the same issues before and were attempting to circumvent court rules. Defense attorneys Shannon Smith and Marielle Lehman have asked that McDonald be sanctioned for statements made in filings and to news media, which they argue will taint the prospective jury pool and interfere with their client's right to a fair trial. They have also asked that McDonald, her office, and law enforcement be ordered not to make any future statements that they have the quote-unquote truth in the case concerning their clients or evidence that they infer defense attorneys have been lying with their own statements. Oakland County Circuit Court Judge Cheryl Matthews is set to rule on the motion. Quote, defendants' emergency supplemental motion is merely a restatement of arguments made to restrict pretrial publicity, said McDonald in a filing. Continuing on, quote, rather than an emergency, defendant's motion is simply an attempt to file a reply brief, which the court rules prohibit without permission from the court, and closed quote. The alleged shooter, now 16, is charged with killing 4 students and wounding 6 others and a teacher in the November 30th, 2021 shooting at Oxford High School. His parents, James and Jennifer Crumbly, have been charged with involuntary manslaughter in the 4 deaths of what prosecutors allege was gross negligence, including purchasing a handgun for their son, not securing the weapon, not removing him from school when notified of disturbing behavior, and not advising school officials about the handgun itself. Mcdougal then indicated that she would have no objection to a gag order on both sides. Quote, the people have the right to make responsive arguments and pleadings and in open court to communicate with the victims, and close quote. The prosecutor wrote, continuing on, quote, the people have no objection to an order mutually prohibiting both the defense and the people from making public statements directly to the press while pretrial remains pending, but such an order cannot infringe on the people's ability to zealously advocate their position to confer with the victims, and closed quote. The Crumbleys remain jailed pending an October 24th trial date. If convicted, they face up to 15 years in prison. Finally, making headlines on our website at civiccentertv.com by clicking on our local news page. From Chandra Fleming of the Detroit Free Press, Detroit Coney Dogs will be featured in a new Al Roker show. TV personality Al Roker will be broadcasting live from the Detroit riverfront as part of the quote-unquote Today Show on Wednesday, and then we'll head to a couple of the city's Coney Dog restaurants to tape a segment for his food-based digital streaming show. American Coney Island and Chili Mustard Onions, or CMO restaurant, will be featured in a special segment of, quote, Family Style with Al Roker, and close quote, that will focus on Detroit's Coney Dogs, the Detroit News, and WDIV-TV, that's Local 4, reported. For the Today Show, Roker will be broadcasting live beginning at 6:30 a.m. on Wednesday from the Cullen Plaza at the Detroit Riverfront. Guests are welcome, but you have to bring your COVID-19 vaccination cards in order to attend. Family Style with Al Roker is a digital streaming show on which Roker tries different iconic dishes around the country while connecting with the family-owned businesses that are keeping the food industry booming. CMO is a newer Coney Dog location in Detroit's Brush Park that specializes in vegan hot dogs with plant-based ingredients. American Coney Island is an iconic downtown restaurant that sells a Coney Dog with natural casing in a steamed bun, their secret chili sauce topped with mustard and sweet diced onions. The famed restaurant at the corner of Michigan, Lafayette, and Griswold has been featured on shows such as Man vs. Food, The Today Show, and more. Earlier this year, Chuck Kiros, the second-generation owner of American Coney Island, died at age 88. He was the son of a Greek immigrant, Gus Kiros, who founded the eatery. The restaurant is still owned by the Kiros family, with Chuck's daughter, Grace Kiros, now running the restaurant. All those headlines, and as well as supporting information within those articles that's linked in these articles, is on our website, civiccentertv.com/local-news, as well as those ever-helpful links to up-to-date and accurate information from the CDC, the MDHHS, and the Oakland County Health Division regarding COVID-19. We have a great program ahead on this edition of the Oakland County Megacast. Coming up next, we'll be joined by Shaun Hayes from the Paint Creek Center for the Arts in Rochester, followed by therapist Carrie Krawiec from the Birmingham Maple Clinic. That's all up next. You're watching and listening to the Oakland County Megacast.
Wondering what to say to someone who's been sexually assaulted or abused?
I believe you. I'm so sorry this happened.
It's not your fault.
Confidential and anonymous help is available at the Michigan Sexual Assault Hotline. Connect with us 24/7. Call 855-VOICES-4 or text 1-866-238-1454 for help. Learn more at michigan.gov/voices4. Wondering what to say to someone who's been sexually assaulted or abused?
I believe you. I'm so sorry this happened.
It's not your fault.
Confidential and anonymous help is available at the Michigan Sexual Assault Hotline. Connect with us 24/7. Call 855-VOICES-4 or text 1-866-238-1454 for help. Learn more at michigan.gov/voices4. Now that the vaccine is available for children 5 and up, why do you recommend it?
Kids are part of the community and they can spread COVID.
We're seeing both healthy children getting sick from the virus as well as children with underlying health conditions.
They can easily bring the virus home to other people that are vulnerable and make them sick as well.
This vaccine can change that and keep children safe.
It's essential that your children get vaccinated to protect them, to protect your families, and to protect those in the community around you.
Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer. Because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine to keep safe and strong. Be like happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine.
Let's relish these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the festivals going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Let's savor these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the dining out going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Wondering what to say to someone who's been sexually assaulted or abused?
I believe you. I'm so sorry this happened.
It's not your fault.
Confidential and anonymous help is available at the Michigan Sexual Assault Hotline. Connect with us 24/7. Call 855-VOICES-4 or text 1-866-238-1454 for help. Learn more at michigan.gov/voices4. Now that the vaccine is available for children 5 and up, why do you recommend it?
Kids are part of the community and they can spread COVID.
We're seeing both healthy children getting sick from the virus as well as children with underlying health conditions.
They can easily bring the virus home to other people that are vulnerable and make them sick as well.
This vaccine can change that and keep children safe.
It's essential that your children get vaccinated to protect them, to protect your families, and to protect those in the community around you.
Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer. Because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine to keep safe and strong. Be like happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine.
Let's relish these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the festivals going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Let's savor these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the dining out going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date.
Welcome back to the Oakland County Megacast, our live daily 1-hour show all about things here in Oakland County. I'm Tyler Kieft. Learn more about the program by visiting our website at civiccentertv.com and clicking on our Megacast link, where you'll find information on our entire network of stations, including My Michigan TV. Our next guest is the executive director of a nonprofit out of Rochester that is inspiring the creation, experience with, and appreciation of the arts right here in Oakland County. Shaun Hayes is with the Paint Creek Center for the Arts and joins us now on the Oakland County Megacast. Shaun, thanks for joining us.
Tyler, thank you for having me today.
Appreciate having you on. So first off, tell us about both the scope and the history of your organization and how it serves the community here in Oakland County.
Yes, absolutely. So Paint Creek Center for the Arts, our mission here is to celebrate and support creativity within our community. We do that through a variety of different ways. We help people to learn, to create, and to appreciate art in a lot of different forms. We've been around since 1982. So we offer classes, we offer galleries, exhibitions. We have an art market where local artists can sell their work. And then we do a lot of other events that people in Rochester know us for.
And then, so you're new in this role currently that you're in. What is your background? What drew you to become the executive director of this organization and lead them in the great work that they're doing out of Rochester?
Yes, so I've been with Paint Creek as the executive director just since February this year, actually. Prior to that, I was the executive director of the Clarkston Chamber of Commerce for 3 years. So just kind of wanting to stay within the nonprofit world, nonprofit leadership in general. And I had done some other, large public events, large public gatherings and whatnot. So just wanted to stay within that space.
And so how is your history working with the Clarkston Chamber of Commerce and communicating with the community through that organization, inspiring interaction with those businesses? How has that helped you in your work with this organization, getting the word out about Paint Creek to the community, but also getting the community involved with Paint Creek Center for the Arts?
Honestly, it was just a really better understanding of kind of why these events are so important, why they kind of bring the community together and what people really know the community for. When I got here to Rochester, I joined a lot of the, Facebook groups, a lot of the different social media activity. And I noticed a lot of people, the thing they know and love in Rochester every year is the Art and Apples Festival, which I know we'll talk about in a little bit. But, it's just something that people come to know and appreciate. And, it's something we want to help to make better for the community every year.
We're joined by Shaun Hayes. He's the executive director of the Paint Creek Center for the Arts and joins us on the Oakland County Megacast. Shaun, in terms of what is offered by the Paint Creek Center for the Arts, what are some of those programs or resources that are offered through the organization? How do those help to achieve the mission of this organization, particularly here in Oakland County?
Yeah, so through our mission, I think one thing where people really take advantage of it the most is the classes that we offer. We have a very strong art education program from kids anywhere as young as 3 years old all the way up to, we have people in their 70s and 80s taking classes with us. And we cover all types of mediums. So photography, painting, whether it's watercolor, oil-based paints, acrylics. We have drawing classes, charcoal, and then we have things like mixed media as well. Clay and pottery, those are also, ceramics classes are very popular right now. So a lot of different opportunities for people to get involved, whether you want to do a 9-week long work class or just a 1-day workshop type thing. There's a lot of variety and all skill levels are covered too.
And so for more information, you can go to pccart.org. That is the website for the Paint Creek Center for the Arts, pccart.org for more information. Shaun Hayes joins us on the Megacast. He is the executive director of the Paint Creek Center for the Arts and joins us on this edition of the program. So you mentioned earlier the Art and Apples Festival. That's going to be happening this year, September 9th through September 11th. Tell me about the festival, how people can participate, and what they can expect to experience at this festival.
Yes, so I'm very excited to be a part of this event this year. The event has been around for 56 years now, even longer than Paint Creek Center for the Arts has existed. And it's just, like I said, something that the Rochester community and the Southeast Michigan community in general really looks forward to, I would say. We have artists, we have entertainers, we have food, and there's a lot of different opportunities to get involved, whether you want to volunteer and help out with the event, whether you are looking for a sponsorship opportunity to exhibit your business, or to just show up and have a good time as well. All opportunities for everybody.
How important is it to have something like this in terms of outreach for a nonprofit like yours, and especially in times like this when COVID-19 has had such a major impact, especially financially, on everybody, but really on these nonprofits as people were cutting back their spending, and oftentimes that meant fewer donations and less time spent with these nonprofit organizations?
It's a good question. Yeah, I've really been in touch with a lot of different, public events and festivals and everything over the last couple of years. And, no organization was exempt from it. We all definitely saw some drop-offs in participation and everything, whether people just had a different marketing budget or maybe they didn't have the staffing to come out and support a festival for 3 days in a row. But I'm definitely seeing a little bit of a return to that from a lot of these types of organizations, that they really miss being part of it. They miss being part of the community and getting to see new faces. And, this is just a great opportunity to come out again.
We're joined by Shaun Hayes. He's the executive director of the Paint Creek Center for the Arts, joining us on the Oakland County Megacast. More information on this Rochester-based nonprofit can be found on pccart.org. That's pccart.org. For more information on the organization, including all their programs and different programs that you can get involved with. And why is it important in the Rochester community, in northern Oakland County, and really across the board in Oakland County through your organization and others, to support the arts and to even beyond supporting the arts, to promote the arts in these communities? Why is it so important to Rochester?
Art's just important because it gives people really a creative outlet to just, a lot more self-expression and everything. And I really think I've noticed it a lot in this community, that there are a lot of different art resources, a lot of different businesses, galleries and everything, not just Rochester, but Oakland County in general. And I think really being a resource for us to kind of celebrate and support that a little bit, just it's good for the community overall.
You've been there for 4 months. You began as the executive director in the month of February. In that time, what sort of impact have you seen this organization have on people in the community, both those that are art lovers that just want an outlet to express their art, or for those that are interested in learning some of the arts? What sort of impact have you seen Paint Creek Center for the Arts have on the community in Rochester and in greater Oakland County?
I think these first few months I've just seen really a nice return to normal. We started getting back to our in-person classes, sometime last summer and everything, but we weren't really at full capacity until probably maybe a couple months before I came on board. So right at the end of 2021, start of 2022. And just seeing the classes be back at full capacity and people being able to enjoy themselves. And it's not just the art, but also some of the social interaction and everything that they get to see. So also right now going on is our summer camps, which provide a lot of different activities for kids to, have a week that they get to be with, 20 of their friends and just hang out, learn some new art skills. And again, just have that social interaction, and being back at full capacity again, it's just fantastic to see.
You can talk a little bit or elaborate a little bit on some of the impact that the pandemic did have on this organization. And with you coming in February, really on at least the beginning of the back end of that impact, or really the recovery from that impact, what sort of impact did the pandemic have on the Paint Creek Center for the Arts, and how has the organization bounced back?
It definitely, every organization felt it, every nonprofit especially. And, we definitely saw a reduction in the classes that we were offering. We had to shut down classes altogether for a little bit. We weren't able to do as many in-person exhibitions as we typically do throughout the year. So definitely a lot of things that we had to hold back on. And like I said, just this, being able to return to normal, even with the Art in Apples Festival, we had to cancel it altogether in 2020. We were able to bring it back in 2021, but it was still, we had a lot more distancing requirements and everything. We weren't able to bring in as many vendors. The other thing really with this festival too is we received applications from nearly 300 artists this year, and they came from, I think I saw about 26 different states listed as far as where applications were coming from. So there were a lot more people who were maybe a little bit apprehensive about travel and things like that. So I think we're seeing, a bit of a return to normal with that aspect too.
We're joined by Shaun Hayes. He's the executive director of the Paint Creek Center for the Arts and joins us on the Oakland County Megacast. More information can be found on the Paint Creek Center for the Arts by visiting their website at pccart.org. That's pccart.org. For more information, including on all their programs, you can also call them at 248-651-4110. That's 248-651-4110. Their hours throughout the summer: Mondays 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Tuesday through Thursday 9 a.m. until 6:30 p.m. They're closed Friday through Sunday, but Monday through Thursday you can stop by their location. Paint Creek is located at 407 Pine Street in Rochester, Michigan. Again, more information on all of that can be found on their website, pccart.org. And you mentioned the interest in the Arts and Apples Festival that's being held with your organization September 9th through September 11th of this year. This is an award-winning festival. Can you talk about some of the awards that have been won by Arts and Apples, and really what's the reason why so many people, you said over 300, want to participate in this festival?
Yeah, absolutely. So the award that we're the most proud of that we've received is from Sunshine Artist Magazine, which is nationally recognized, and they have all different types of categories, whether craft shows or fine art fairs. We are a juried fine art fair, so we do kind of dictate. We have an anonymous jury that kind of comes in for each category and says, is this up to par with our standards for what we want to see at this type of festival? So we are, like I said, juried fine art festival, and we have commonly been ranked by Sunshine Artist Magazine among their top 10 fine art festivals in the entire nation. So we've made the top 10 list a couple times. In 2020, they did not, or 2021, excuse me, they did not do a list because there were not many of these festivals taking place in 2020, but they did a decade list, and we were ranked 9th over the past decade, 2010 to 2020. So again, just great recognition. I think it's because number one, we've got so many people, we bring high quality artists. And also, being in Oakland County and everything, we've got a lot of people who are art enthusiasts and want to spend a lot of money. These artists get a lot of attention, whether it's from buying their work on site or people wanting to commission them for their own personal work later on.
You mentioned earlier that your organization holds exhibitions throughout the year as well, on top of just the Arts and Apples Festival. So there's plenty of opportunity for people to show off their art, maybe even sell their art if they'd like to turn art into a career, or they are professional artists located in the local area. How can people participate in those exhibitions, as well as inquire about participating in Arts and Apples if they'd like to in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. So really the best way is to just stay involved with us, get on our email list and everything. You mentioned our website, pccart.org. We've got some people on staff here who do a lot of review of what type of work we feature in our exhibitions and our art market and everything. There's usually a theme to the exhibitions. One right now is it is a retrospective of Tim Tenbush. He's a former student here who actually passed away last year. And we're highlighting some of his work over a number of years. He's been doing this for decades. So highlighting some of his work. We've got other shows later in the year that are going to be focused on our students, our members, our faculty. So again, just to stay involved with us and let us get familiar with your work, and we can always highlight it throughout the year. We've got a couple others coming up. We're working on one right now that we're going to host at the Strand Theater in Pontiac later this summer.
Shaun, just another couple minutes before we'll say goodbye today. Anything else that we haven't discussed about the Paint Creek Center for the Arts, or other programs or events coming up that people should be keeping an eye out for?
Like I said, some of our other exhibitions to keep an eye out for. If none of this fits into your calendar, we always have the art market. Like I mentioned, a lot of handmade items from local artists that, anytime you want to purchase something, whether you need a gift or something for yourself, or you just want to, check out some new artwork, it's always worth stopping by for that. And I would just mention too, some of our sponsorship opportunities. The Art and Apples Festival is sponsored by Genesis Credit Union, among many other companies. And we're always looking for more people who, if you want to be on site, we get probably around 80,000 people in attendance over these 3 days of the Art and Apples Festival. So it's always a good way to get your business in front of an audience.
Shaun, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much for telling us about everything happening at the Paint Creek Center for the Arts.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, Tyler.
You can find more information on the Paint Creek Center for the Arts by visiting pccart.org. That's pccart.org. And again, the Art and Apples Festival will be happening September 9th through September 11th. Again, more information, pccart.org. We're going to take a break. On the other side, we'll talk mental health with Carrie Krawiec from the Birmingham Maple Clinic. That's up next. You're watching and listening to the Oakland County Megacast.
Now that the vaccine is available for children 5 and up, why do you recommend it?
Kids are part of the community and they can spread COVID.
We're seeing both healthy children getting sick from the virus as well as children with underlying health conditions.
They can easily bring the virus home to other people that are vulnerable and make them sick as well.
This vaccine can change that and keep children safe.
It's essential that your children get vaccinated to protect them, to protect your families, and to protect those in the community around you.
Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine to keep safe and strong. Be like happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine.
Let's relish these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the festivals going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Let's savor these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the dining out going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Wondering what to say to someone who's been sexually assaulted or abused?
I believe you. I'm so sorry this happened.
It's not your fault.
Confidential and anonymous help is available at the Michigan Sexual Assault Hotline. Connect with us 24/7. Call 855-VOICES-4 or text 1-866-238-1454 for help. Learn more at michigan.gov/voices4. Now that the vaccine is available for children 5 and up, why do you recommend it?
Kids are part of the community and they can spread COVID.
We're seeing both healthy children getting sick from the virus as well as children with underlying health conditions.
They can easily bring the virus home to other people that are vulnerable and make them sick as well.
This vaccine can change that and keep children safe.
It's essential that your children get vaccinated to protect them, to protect your families, and to protect those in the community around you.
Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine to keep safe and strong. Be like happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine.
Let's relish these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the festivals going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Let's savor these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the dining out going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date.
Welcome back to the Oakland County Megacast, our live daily 1-hour show about all things Oakland County. I'm Tyler Kieft. Learn more about the program by visiting our website at civiccentertv.com and clicking on our Megacast link, where you'll find information on our entire network of stations, including My Michigan TV and Civic Center TV, and find all of our programs and each individual interview on demand as well. For many years, men like me have experienced the stigma of toughing it out and not talking about our mental health with each other, with our friends and family, and with a professional. That stigma, thankfully, in recent years has begun to fade, and June is Men's Health Month, and here to talk about the mental health side of our overall health is Carrie Krawiec, a therapist with the Birmingham Maple Clinic. Carrie, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
Appreciate having you on. So it is, of course, as I mentioned, it's Men's Health Month. Many people, when they think about health, they think about the physical side of health, but they all often think about the mental health side. Specifically for men, can you talk about the importance of maintaining the mental health side and how the reluctance, mostly due to stigma in the past, has hampered men's overall health because of their mental health state?
Absolutely. So men are very likely to suffer from depression or anxiety. In fact, men are more likely than women to die by suicide, and the suicide rates amongst men are growing and have been growing since the early 2000s, whereas right now it's the seventh leading cause of death, right? So it is so important, just like any physical health issue, to address it, take care of yourself, and seek a professional when necessary to prevent unavoidable deaths or worsening of symptoms. There is, of course, there's the stigma about mental health issues that make it hard for men to seek treatment, but there's also, like you said, there's maybe not so much, even if men have been getting therapy, of course, our practice is very busy and we see a ton of men, they might not be talking about it. You might not know that your dad or uncle or even anybody from the generations before you have seen therapists or have gotten professional treatment. And so not just the stigma sort of socially, but even amongst our families being a little more open that this is totally normal and that talking can be helpful.
How has the pandemic impacted, particularly at your clinic, the Birmingham Maple Clinic, but just in general in the mental health community, what sort of impact has the pandemic had on getting men to seek that help? Because it's not that men didn't seek therapy before or wouldn't speak with the professional before the pandemic, but the pandemic's opened a lot of people's eyes on the need for better mental health care across the board.
Sure. Well, certainly even in normal kind of times, non-pandemic times, the factors that really precipitate mental health issues would include social isolation, substance use, unemployment, other stresses or traumas. And of course, during the pandemic, we were experiencing much more of all of those. So there was definitely an opportunity to say like maybe mood issues that were kind of low level were definitely spiking during that time. Access across the time of the pandemic has really been an improvement. You can seek treatment from the privacy of your home. You could see somebody from your car or anywhere else, and so that's really made it, instead of having to sort of traverse into an office and maybe risk running into somebody, people feel much more private and able to access treatment and at all hours of the day.
Actually seeking that help and asking for help if you are in need of it, or you're dealing with something related to your mental health. It's difficult for a lot of people, but for men, is there any sort of psychological predisposition that makes that tougher for them, or is it really just the social aspects that have seemed to make that process, which is tough for most people, I would presume, more difficult specifically for men?
Yeah, I can't speak to that specifically, but I would guess that it's something like we say, both nature and nurture, right? That maybe women, based on our behavior and what the behavior we see in other women, are perhaps more likely to talk to each other about issues and problems. So I couldn't speak to whether that's necessarily genetic, but my guess is that there's probably two things at play. And of course, they're on a continuum for all people. I think that when it comes, like you said, to seeking help, to just the social norms about not asking for help, toughing things out, doing things on your own. Another barrier for men is that their symptoms don't necessarily look the same, either to themselves or to the people that know them. They might not necessarily look sad or even report feeling sad, but they might have more trouble sleeping or harder time getting up, more fatigue, change in energy. So they might actually even be reporting physical symptoms that may actually meet the criteria for, say, a depression diagnosis, but they might be feeling more tired, more, loss of interest in activities, more irritable, and things like that might actually be a sign of depression and not necessarily sadness, worthlessness, or changes in their self-esteem.
You mentioned earlier the concept of nature versus nurture, and whether your genetics or whether society and your daily life impact more or how they impact together your mental health. In terms of family history, is there a predisposition with family history for people? If they have a known family history of someone that had suffered from a mental health condition, are they more likely than, in the eyes of the mental health community, to be predisposed for mental health issues themselves? Or is that, again, just going back to it's a combination of their genetics and the community?
It is certainly a combination, but having a family history of a mental health issue or suicide is going to put a person at heightened risk for a mental health issue. So there is correlation there, but other correlation is, exposure to environmental stressors, exposure to trauma, and so there are multiple factors still, even though there is certainly a higher risk when you do have a family member that has depression, anxiety, or some other form of mental illness.
We're joined by Carrie Krawiec, a therapist at the Birmingham Maple Clinic, joining us on the Megacast. More information and get in contact with them and access their resources, you can go to birminghammaple.com. That's birminghammaple.com for more information and get in contact with the professionals at the Birmingham Maple Clinic. Carrie, is it important to practice your mental strength, just like you would your physical strength, to go through different rituals or different practices on a daily basis or even several times a week to improve your mental health? Is that something that people can regularly be doing on top of or even before necessarily they go and see a therapist?
Sure. And, there's such a connection between our physical and mental health. Like we said, too, men might not necessarily seek out treatment for depression. Initially, they might have another complaint, but some of them are even related to physical health issues. Diet, exercise, hormone changes can all affect your mood. And so it is important to have mental health be one of the many ways we take care of ourselves. Talking to people, whether it's a therapist or whether it's someone close to you, is good for both your physical and your mental health as well. That talking to someone during periods of stress is shown to release comforting hormones, to improve oxygen flow without the body, to lower our heart rate. So there are a bunch of physical as well as mental health benefits to simply talking to someone that you can trust and feel safe with. But yeah, emotional intelligence is really about recognizing your feeling states and being able to restore calm. So like when you work out, you kind of put your body under stress, and then the part of fitness is being able to then restore yourself back to normalcy in terms of heart rate and breath. That emotional intelligence is really the same thing. Recognizing a feeling state in yourself or someone else, recognizing what's maybe triggered it, and then also having some skills to reduce yourself, or release some of that tension and restore yourself to a normal level. And so there are plenty of activities from mindfulness and meditation, from talking to someone, even I think just doing an examination of like feeling words. I think that we could all stand to use more descriptive words to describe our feeling statements. We kind of rely on happy, sad, mad, and the, okay. Everyone says I'm okay or fine, whatever. But to like really learn words from irritated through rage, or from peacefulness to excited, and, giving yourself, I always say like the full box of crayons. We need the 64 box, not the 4. And the more words you have for it, the better you're able to understand it yourself and make someone else understand you.
So much of how we feel on a given day, or how we feel after a certain situation, is in our reaction to stimuli in our life. So can you explain the importance of how men react to different stressors in their daily life and the ways that can impact their mental health?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think one that we hear so often is anger. So often people, especially because men may be more inclined or more comfortable or more coached on expressing anger over other feelings. And then also, of course, there's sort of risk there. Like, does this make somebody dangerous or unsafe in some way? Or other people concerned about this anger? Is, it's like okay to be mad. It's not okay to be bad, right? Is that like with the proper skills, can you describe your anger and what's upsetting to you without acting out, without name calling or swearing or physical gestures? That would really be a sign of health, right? That the anger itself is a completely acceptable emotion. It's just how it's displayed that becomes concerning at times.
We're joined by Carrie Krawiec. She's the therapist at the Birmingham Maple Clinic, joining us on the Oakland County Megacast. More information can be found on birminghammaple.com. That's birminghammaple.com to get in contact with mental health professionals at the Birmingham Maple Clinic, as well as access other resources from them over at the Birmingham Maple Clinic. Again, birminghammaple.com, or you can call them 248-646-6659, 248-646-6659. for more information. Carrie, just another few minutes with you before we'll say goodbye today. If any man in our audience would like to seek assistance with the mental health from the Birmingham Maple Clinic, how can they best go about that? And is it easier than ever now with telehealth to accommodate these appointments and find that right therapist for somebody that fits into their schedule?
Absolutely. I mean, there are therapists at our clinic and, of course, statewide who are seeing clients either via telehealth or in person. So, we're finding that that's really a comfort or a preference issue. Some people prefer in person, some therapists prefer in person, whereas some prefer the virtual model. And so there is something for everybody. The biggest contributor to success in treatment is a good fit. So, not feeling like you just try it once and then say, I tried it and it didn't work, but really giving it a fair chance and, trying a few times or trying a few different therapists to see who might be a good fit. I think also, therapists are trained professionals, I think so often too, like, men may worry, especially having never been into therapy or never really addressing maybe contributing issues across their lifetime, worry like, hey, if we start to delve into this, they're going to kind of break me open and kind of, then I'm going to just be like a vulnerable mess. A trained therapist is going to pace just like a physical therapist or fitness trainer would. We're going to sort of like work on a few things and then stack on a little more element of difficulty or, tap into something maybe a little bit harder to talk about that it doesn't really start with like breaking out the big guns. It's really just like a practice over time and building and strengthening and growing.
Carrie, just another couple minutes with you before we'll say goodbye today. At this time, anything else that we should be keeping in consideration on the mental health front, especially in particular for men as we continue through June, which is Men's Health Month?
I always tell people and family members too, is like to be bold. If you suspect that someone in your family, man or otherwise, is dealing with feelings of depression or sadness or loss, if you suspect that there's any risk of suicidal thoughts, to ask them straightforward. Especially if you are involved with a man who you're concerned is depression and he has, say, for example, firearms, I would certainly ask, does he feel safe? And what plans or strategies can you create as a family to make sure that if there is any risk, they need to be removed from the home or given to a trusted person? To ask those questions seem very hard, but they can be very comforting to a person who feels embarrassed about saying it, that if someone asks them, it's sort of permission to get the help that they need.
Carrie, we appreciate your time and your insight. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
More information and to get in contact with the professionals at the Birmingham Maple Clinic can be found on their website, birminghammaple.com. Birminghammaple.com, or by calling their phone number 248-646-6659. That's 248-646-6659. We're going to take a break on your radio homes for the Megacast 89.3 WBLD Orchard Lake and 88.1 WBFH Bloomfield Hills, as well as the remainder of our network. When we come back on the other side, we'll kick off the Michigan Megacast with one of over 1,000 artists that you'll be having the chance to meet and enjoy the work of at this year's Ann Arbor Art Fair. That's coming up next as we begin the Michigan Megacast.
Let's relish these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the festivals going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Let's savor these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the dining out going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Wondering what to say to someone who's been sexually assaulted or abused?
I believe you. I'm so sorry this happened.
It's not your fault.
Confidential and anonymous help is available at the Michigan Sexual Assault Hotline. Connect with us 24/7. Call 855-VOICES-4 or text 1-866-238-1454 for help. Learn more at michigan.gov/voices4. Now that the vaccine is available for children 5 and up, why do you recommend it?
Kids are part of the community and they can spread COVID.
We're seeing both healthy children getting sick from the virus as well as children with underlying health conditions.
They can easily bring the virus home to other people that are vulnerable and make them sick as well.
This vaccine can change that and keep children safe.
It's essential that your children get vaccinated to protect them, to protect your families, and to protect those in the community around you.
Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine to keep safe and strong. Be like happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine.
Let's relish these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the festivals going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Let's savor these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the dining out going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Wondering what to say to someone who's been sexually assaulted or abused?
I believe you. I'm so sorry this happened.
It's not your fault.
Confidential and anonymous help is available at the Michigan Sexual Assault Hotline. Connect with us 24/7. Call 855-VOICES-4 or text 1-866-238-1454 for help. Learn more at michigan.gov/voices4. Now that the vaccine is available for children 5 and up, why do you recommend it?
Kids are part of the community and they can spread COVID.
We're seeing both healthy children getting sick from the virus as well as children with underlying health conditions.
They can easily bring the virus home to other people that are vulnerable and make them sick as well.
This vaccine can change that and keep children safe.
It's essential that your children get vaccinated to protect them, to protect your families, and to protect those in the community around you.
Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine to keep safe and strong. Be like happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine.
Let's relish these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the festivals going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Let's savor these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the dining out going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Wondering what to say to someone who's been sexually assaulted or abused?
I believe you. I'm so sorry this happened.
It's not your fault.
Confidential and anonymous help is available at the Michigan Sexual Assault Hotline. Connect with us 24/7. Call 855-VOICES-4 or text 1-866-238-1454 for help. Learn more at michigan.gov/voices4.
Welcome to the Michigan Megacast, our live daily one-hour show about all things Michigan. I'm Tyler Kieft. Learn more about the program at civiccentertv.com/megacast. We'll find information on our entire network of stations, including My Michigan TV. Joining us now is an expert designer of movie posters, business logos, cartoons, and more. David Zinn joins us now on the Michigan Megacast. David, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Appreciate having you on. So first off, I'd like to ask this of any artist that joins us. What inspired you to pursue art as a professional career?
Well, my mother hates when I say this, but it's really because I successfully failed at any other kind of career. I was a compulsive doodler as a child, had no idea that was even a job option, and actually studied other things in college. But when I got out of college, the main thing people wanted from me was, hey, could you draw this for me? Because they knew I was the guy who draws stuff.
And so your art has a range of different commissions. You've been commissioned on theatrical posters, educational cartoons, landfill murals, environmental superheroes, corporate allegories, hand-painted dump trucks. It goes all along a wide range. Where did that range come from? Because drawing is its own medium, but then when you go to these different outlets for those drawings, I would imagine it takes on a whole different meaning, and it's a whole different process for one versus the other.
Well, I mostly just made myself available in a relatively small town of Ann Arbor to do whatever people needed done. But actually, all of that has now been blown out of the water by the one type of art I started doing exclusively for myself, for non-commercial purposes, which is drawing on the street with chalk, which is what I'm going to be doing at the Ann Arbor Art Fair in July. That it's actually serves very little purpose, which is what I like about it. It's an ephemeral art that exists only out on the street until it rains.
So your street art drawings, you mentioned that you're going to be doing some street art drawings in chalk during the Ann Arbor Art Fair. They're considered to be anamorphic parietal. Can you tell our viewers what those terms mean?
Of course. They are weird words to use. I think I like using them in part because they sound like fake words, but they are real. Anamorphosis is a trick that artists have been using for hundreds of years. It's the technique of stretching or distorting a flat image so that when you look at it from one perfect point of view, it looks three-dimensional. It's a very common trick for street artists to use. I think because when you draw something on the ground at people's feet, they can't actually look at it from straight above, because they'd have to be 20 feet tall to do that. And so since people can only look at it from a weird angle, you might as well make one of those weird angles the ideal place to stand, and then people know, oh, this is where I should see this from. The pareidolia is something that I think I've made my own particular, street art indulgence. It's something we all do. It's an inherent psychological tendency we all have to see patterns in random stuff. It's why we see clouds and say, hey, that looks like a cow or that looks like a bunny. It's why you see faces in wallpaper or get frightened by that pile of clothes on a chair at 2 o'clock in the morning. It's because your brain is always looking for possible meaning in everything it sees. And one of the things I like most about drawing out on the sidewalk is that it's covered with all kinds of shapes and random pieces and bits, specks and streaks and cracks. And it takes very little application of this pareidolia to see things that might want to be drawn in any surface you look at, and that's what I do.
So what are some of the more unique street art designs that you've made in your time practicing this pareidolia? Because there's, like you said, there's so many different phenomenons and patterns that can be experienced by people in everyday things, and especially when you think about Michigan surfaces and the ways that they crack and the ways that they bend. I'd imagine there's quite a lot of variety, even in a place, like you said, in a small town of Ann Arbor.
Oh, yeah. There is an incredible amount of variety. In fact, especially starting at the beginning of the pandemic, when I did all of my work for 2 years within walking distance of my own house, not only did I not run out of new places to draw, I didn't run out of things I wanted to draw on the same place. There are now places in downtown Ann Arbor, specific 1 square of sidewalk, that I've drawn 5 or 6 different things on the same place. So you're right, especially with Michigan conveniently breaking up the sidewalk here and there, there's always going to be something new to inspire a new piece of art.
Do you see something on the street, like a manhole cover or some sort of signage that's got a certain shadow at a certain time of day or something along those lines that then sparks an idea? Or is it more of a trial and error where I'm going to try this at this location, see if it works, and if it doesn't, I'll go back to the drawing board, no pun intended, and think of something else?
It's a very good question and a very good reference to the drawing board, because the beauty of it is that there is no drawing board, which means you don't really have that opportunity. You only really have until the sun goes down or a rainstorm comes to complete any given drawing. So even if there's very rarely a plan, and I think this is the key, is to very rarely have a plan, something will emerge. I mean, you could walk away at any time, but even though I could walk away at any time, and even if the drawing isn't going the way I expected, usually something comes of it, because why not make something while you're there?
We're joined by David Zinn, professional artist with Zinn Art, joining us on the Michigan Megacast, and you'll be able to see some of his art on the streets of Ann Arbor during the Ann Arbor Art Fair, where he'll be doing many of these drawings that we have been speaking about, these street drawings in chalk throughout Ann Arbor during that time in this July, that the Ann Arbor Art Fair, July 21st through 23rd in downtown Ann Arbor. 30 blocks of the city will be featuring this art fair. And so, David, you have a couple of characters you go back to, Sluggo and Philomena, who appear in a lot of your street art also. Can you tell us about these characters, who they are, and where the ideas for these characters came from?
Sluggo's probably been around the longest. He was one of the first things I drew actually on a driveway right next to my house. And he was actually my first failed drawing, because he was supposed to be a drawing of a human child that went really, really badly, to the point where he ended up green with eyes on stalks above his head. And because his eyes are this weird bug eye kind of, independent existence floating above his head, he's very excited about everything. I think he's been a good companion for that reason, because any way you draw him, he has strong emotions about whatever's happening. So he's the exuberant side of things. Philomena, by comparison, was drawn originally at the request of a small child in my neighborhood. And it didn't even occur to me at the time that drawing a pig with wings has a lot of symbolic power, and symbolic positive power and encouraging power, only because the phrase "that'll happen when pigs fly" is such an inherently mean-spirited thing to say, because that is used solely to discourage people. That means that for some people, and I've heard people comment this as they're walking by on the street, seeing a flying pig just has an inherently encouraging feel to it. Like, no, whatever you want to have happen, yeah, it could probably happen, because look, pigs can fly. She, in contrast, has very small eyes and a face which I've tried to make look scared or frightened or even exuberantly happy, and I can't do it. Something about that character is always very much calm and accepting and just okay with whatever's happening. And I find that the two together make a nice balance of influences in my life.
We're joined by David Zinn, professional artist, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. You'll find him in Ann Arbor with his street drawings all throughout Ann Arbor during the Ann Arbor Art Fair this July. More information can be found by searching Ann Arbor Art Fair. That happens July 21st through 23rd in Ann Arbor. You can learn more about David's art by visiting zinnart.com, ZINNART.com, zinnart.com for more information and to see some of his pieces of street art and more on his website. zinnart.com, again, is the website. And you also have a collection of artworks in a book called Chance Encounters. Can you tell us about Chance Encounters?
I do.
What people can find in that?
Yeah, Chance Encounters just came out this spring. It's being published by Prestel in Germany, so it's actually got a pretty good reach, unlike some of my first books, which were published very locally and have so few copies that people are scrambling to find any that are left. This is basically what makes the ephemerality okay, because I can't save any of these original drawings. They're stuck to the ground. I can't take them home, which is actually one of the best things about it, because I never have to worry if I have room in my house to store more art, which is a problem a lot of artists have. But to make it okay, I take photographs, and I can publish the photographs, and people can enjoy those anytime and anywhere, and also preserve the stories that emerge around them, because each one of these feels like it's an illustration from a story that hasn't been written. And so each one comes with a one-sentence reference, just an allusion to what might be happening. Usually they have a name, and something is happening to them, but it's up to the reader to supply everything else.
We're joined by David Zinn, professional artist, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. Again, his website, zinnart.com, zinnart.com, where you can also learn more about where you can get a copy of Chance Encounters and see some of his previous art. You'll be able to see his latest editions of street art at the Ann Arbor Art Fair coming up this July. And so where in the city are you going to be planning it, or do you plan at this time, if you have those plans, to make some of these street art pieces? Is it going to be in a relatively close area, or is it going to be all throughout the art fair?
Well, it is true that any nice day in Ann Arbor, I am likely to be somewhere drawing something, generally in the Main Street, Liberty Street area, because that's where I usually run errands and things. And that's my favorite way to make art, is when I'm just walking through town. However, for the art fair, they give me the opportunity to draw in front of the post office down on Liberty, a very downtown location, very central to my thinking of what is downtown Ann Arbor, because it's right near the intersection of Fifth Avenue and Liberty. And it's a space where I normally can't draw because it's federal property. It's one of the only places that a security guard has ever given me a stern look and told me to keep walking. So I relish art fair just for the indulgence of being able to draw in a forbidden place. So I'll be there definitely on Thursday and Saturday, and possibly on Friday as well, because we like to be prepared for possible erasure of the ground by rain in the meantime. Hopefully nothing that's going to get in anybody's way. So I'll be right down there, also right near one of my only permanent pieces in town, which is a mural on Fifth Avenue right next to the post office that people are welcome to come see. It's actually a very good photo op for anyone who wants to participate in a piece of art. So I hope people consider that as well.
David, if people can't come to the art fair, they can't see your art on the streets either during the art fair proper or afterwards because Mother Nature decides that the show is over, how can they find you on social media?
I'm on pretty much everything, I believe. I have a professional Facebook page called David Zinn Illustration that barely distinguishes it from my actual Facebook page, but add the illustration on there and you'll be fine. I'm on Twitter at DavidZinn_art, and on Instagram, I think is just my name, David Zinn. And recently on TikTok, I've started posting actual videos of works in progress that have been very popular, and that is an account called Street Art by David Zinn.
And all this information can be found on zinnart.com, zinnart.com, for more information about his pieces, to get a copy of Chance Encounters. And just in case you were unable to memorize all of that social media, you can have links to all that as well. David, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. It's nice talking to you.
Appreciate having you on, David. Appreciate your time. You can find him and over 1,000 artists at the Ann Arbor Art Fair in July. More information, theannarborartfair.com. Let's take a break. In just a few minutes, we'll return with the CEO of Passage, a new event ticketing company based out of Detroit. That's up next. You're watching and listening to the Michigan Megacast.
Now that the vaccine is available for children 5 and up, why do you recommend it?
Kids are part of the community and they can spread COVID.
We're seeing both healthy children getting sick from the virus as well as children with underlying health conditions.
They can easily bring the virus home to other people that are vulnerable and make them sick as well.
This vaccine can change that and keep children safe.
It's essential that your children get vaccinated to protect them, to protect your families, and to protect those in the community around you.
Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine to keep safe and strong. Be like happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine.
Let's relish these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the festivals going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Let's savor these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the dining out going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Wondering what to say to someone who's been sexually assaulted or abused?
I believe you. I'm so sorry this happened.
It's not your fault.
Confidential and anonymous help is available at the Michigan Sexual Assault Hotline. Connect with us 24/7. Call 855-VOICES-4 or text 1-866-238-1454 for help. Learn more at michigan.gov/voices4. Now that the vaccine is available for children 5 and up, why do you recommend it?
Kids are part of the community and they can spread COVID.
We're seeing both healthy children getting sick from the virus as well as children with underlying health conditions.
They can easily bring the virus home to other people that are vulnerable and make them sick as well.
This vaccine can change that and keep children safe.
It's essential that your children get vaccinated to protect them, to protect your families, and to protect those in the community around you.
Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine to keep safe and strong. Be like happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine.
Let's relish these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the festivals going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date.
Welcome back to the Michigan Megacast, our live daily 1-hour show about all things Michigan. I'm Tyler Kieft. Learn more about the program by visiting our website at civiccentertv.com and clicking on our Megacast link, where you'll find information on our entire network of stations, including My Michigan TV. Joining us now is Alex Linebrink, the CEO of Passage, a cutting-edge new event ticketing company based in Detroit. Alex, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Tyler. I really appreciate it and honored to be a guest. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Passage. For those that aren't familiar with the ticketing company, can you explain how it works and how it works differently than other ticketing agencies?
Certainly. So Passage is a platform that works with small to medium-sized events all around, and we help them power tickets, merchandise, concessions, and other sales, both online and at the door for their events. So an event organizer could go and they can sign up online and they can start selling tickets in a matter of minutes and reaching more fans and generating more revenue as a result. And how it's different, that's a great question, and really kind of why we're in this business. I actually got into this business back in 2014 because I was a haunted house nerd, believe it or not. And I saw that haunted houses just weren't really fulfilled by the event ticketing platforms that were out there. They needed repeat times, they needed bundles of multiple attractions together. So we built a platform that could service those specialty event categories and help them with features that they needed. So to this day, one of our brands is still for haunted houses. It's called HauntPay, and we're the largest provider of haunted house ticketing in America. But we also have brands for food and drink festivals and semi-pro soccer with special features and other things, all sorts of different event categories too, with all these special features that help them run their events more effectively and reach more fans in those event segments.
On the fan side of things, how does this help to benefit those that are purchasing tickets for these events and make the process easier for them to obtain the tickets, but also to find what they're looking for within some of these events that, like you said, have so many different activities and different things to participate in?
Oh, heck yeah. I think it helps fans a ton because you can actually go and you can search in your local area. You can search by categories. So one thing that we have that a lot of different event ticketing platforms out there don't have are these very specific tags. So you can find an event that it has, is handicap accessible and it's, got food and beer involved and that sort of thing. It's searched by those tags over at gopassage.com. Just click find an event and you'll find that there. But we also make it really easy to check out. You can keep, a card on file. You can use Apple Pay and Google Google Pay. And on the other side, you're going to get a smaller, transaction total because our fees are way less than most of the other ticketing providers out there, which the fans should love, as do the event organizers, because it helps them sell more tickets when their fees aren't as high.
Yeah, so you mentioned that sort of model with fewer fees on the ticketing side helps these businesses, help these agencies sell more tickets. What other benefits? You mentioned some of them for those that are consuming these tickets, but for those that are selling them, what sort of benefits does your organization and your business model have for them?
Yeah, I mean, in addition to the fees, which we feel like that is necessary, keep those as low as possible so you're selling as many tickets as possible. That's number one there. But number two is we actually have those features that we mentioned before, and that might be for a sports team. That might be season passes or bundles of multiple games or flex passes for them. It might be the ability to add concessions and merchandise to your totals there and handle all your payments in one space. And that just makes it all around easier. Instead of having 3 or 4 different vendors, as an event organizer, you can just deal with one. And we're also offering them more opportunities to generate revenue. So whether that is, as I mentioned, merchandise, concessions, subscriptions, season passes, we also just released an NFT digital collectible functionality. So that's something new. Event organizers can sell digital collectibles to their fans, and they can collect those, they can retrade them, resell them, all that sort of thing too.
We're joined by Alex Linebrink. She is the CEO of Passage, a cutting-edge new event ticketing company located in Detroit. More information can be found on their website, gopassage.com. That's gopassage.com. And as I said, you're based in Detroit. Your offices are on Hunt Street in the city of Detroit. What about Detroit was it that attracted you to hold your business base in the city of?
Oh, man, I love Detroit. So I'm a Michigander. I grew up in Hillsdale, Michigan, which is not the big city. It's not Metro Detroit. It's a small farm town. But, I had visited Detroit. I was a big Tigers fan growing up. So I'd come over here for some Tigers games. And when I saw there was an opportunity, there was an ecosystem for startups and for entrepreneurs in Detroit, that attracted me a lot. And I'll tell you, being here, I would not rather be, headquartered anywhere else. We have 15 full-time employees now. Most are in this local area. And it's just incredible. The opportunities here, the grit and hard work that people are willing to put in, the excitement that the community is able to pour in. It's incredible. It's like nowhere else in the world. And I'm just honored to be a part of such a great community here. Yeah.
Alex, there's so much competition, and when I say competition, I mean big competition in ticketing, and so many different places that people that are throwing events or holding concerts or sporting events, whatever the case may be, may go to. That's a lot. There's a lot to compete with, and there are just really a few major, large-sized companies that tend to dominate this particular side of the events and entertainment industry. Why compete with them? What drew you to this as a business and to make this your mission, especially going up against some of the giants that have dominated ticketing for decades?
Yeah, that's awesome consideration there. When I started this, I just sold a payment technology company called Core Merchant was the name that I sold it back in 2014. And when I got together with my co-founder, Patrick Mish, we were, as I mentioned earlier, we were kind of looking at what are these specialty event categories that out there, and are they actually being well serviced by the Ticketmasters, by the Eventbrites, by these other, really large tickets.com, these other really large platforms out there. And we found that even though they had a lot of good features, either their fees were way too high, as well as I do, that on a Ticketmaster purchase, that can end up being 80% more. Sometimes you're basically doubling the ticket price just to end your checkout there, which is ridiculous. Or on the flip side, they just didn't have the features that were needed. Like, how can you be a sports team without offering season passes? That's a great example. Or offering, merchandise for sale and that sort of thing. And these other platforms that we saw there just didn't have that. In addition, they were making their events, when we got into this in 2014, especially, they were making their events wait until after the event was over to get their money. They were sometimes 2 weeks after the event was over. Now, that's so weird if you're pre-selling tickets months in advance to have to wait to get that money when you as an event organizer could be using it now. So we got in for all those reasons, next day funding, 1 to 2 business days on every deposit, giving them the features they need, giving them more revenue opportunities, because if you're not selling it, your fans can't buy it. So you can't generate that revenue. And those fans might really want to support you, and giving them features they need to really make their event stand out and run it effectively.
Some of your company's partners include the Royal Oak Leprechauns baseball team, the Michigan Jaguars football club, also some of your partners. How did you establish these relationships, and how has the growth of your company maintained that momentum over the past several years, especially during the pandemic when things were very much different in the event industry? Things were simply just not happening.
Yeah, that's awesome. We are really thrilled and honored to work with so many great local companies, but also over 5,000 events a year in 48 states, which is great as well. Actually, I think we finally hit 50 last year. That I could be off on that, but either 48 or 50 states right now, and 2 other countries, Canada and Australia. We have events as well. So we've spread quite a few ways, and I think the ones locally that you mentioned there, both the Jaguars and the Stars there, like that was word of mouth. They saw us working with other people locally. So sometimes it's outreach. Sometimes it's just that we do a great job with other clients and they refer us to other people. Sometimes in the world of soccer, such as the Jaguars, it's that we work with their league and create a partnership with their league that's beneficial not only to the teams, but to the league as a whole. Now, when COVID hit, that was a crazy time for everybody. In the beginning of March 2020, we had 1,000 events selling tickets, and at the end of March, we had 0. So we had to pivot. We had to change things up. I had investors who, putting the pressure on us saying, you either need to fire everybody and hibernate for a while or figure something else out. And thankfully, we got them to trust us with figuring something else out. Our investors and board are awesome. And we went full force into developing a virtual events platform. We launched that actually by April 1st of 2020, which is insanely fast to get that up and running. A week or 2 later, we were featured in Forbes as the Ticketmaster killer in the age of virtual events, which was a huge honor as well, and just kept us in the conversation for a while. So we were able to help a lot of event organizers that were scrambling to figure out how they could generate revenue because they weren't able to play at the local bar. They weren't able to keep their venue open. They weren't able to keep performing and doing their thing. And we were able to help them switch to a virtual format for a while, which it was incredible how many people actually participated in virtual events. And then for the fall, we really focused on socially distanced event technology. So the ability to get a text message when they're ready for your group instead of standing in line, or have socially distanced assigned seating so it would leave 3 seats in between groups, that sort of thing. And a lot of those things, we were the first ones out there to it. So a lot of people jumped in and used our platform for that. And it worked out great. Even despite having a couple really rough months in 2020, we ended the year up 80%. And actually since 2019, last year we were 3x the size. So we've grown over 3 times in a 2-year period there. And I just couldn't be more thankful for incredible team and awesome clients that are generating these ticket sales. Yeah.
We're joined by Alex Linebrink, the CEO of Passage, a new ticket event company, event ticketing company in Detroit. You say it. You try it.
Event ticketing is great. Yeah.
Yes, it's a new event ticketing company located in Detroit, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. More information can be found on gopassage.com. That's gopassage.com to learn more about the company, as well as purchase tickets from some of the different companies and different organizations and events that they partner with as well. Gopassage.com. And you mentioned over the pandemic, helping to keep your company alive and find something new to do to maintain your business, but you also were helping to assist other small businesses and small event planners as well. Can you tell us about the special program you put on called Passage Capital and what that did to help these individuals?
Yeah, it was a rough time, obviously, the pandemic for a lot of folks. So we were fortunate enough to have some money in the bank and have some really great investors on our side of things. And they backed us in a really interesting idea. We had event organizers coming to us saying, what do we do in this meantime? And we helped them with virtual events and things like that, but it wasn't always applicable. And it wasn't always filling that gap of the revenue that they used to have. So we said, let's put together a program where we can get cash in the hands of these event organizers that need it the most. And in exchange, we'll get something out of it too. We're a for-profit company. My investors wouldn't just let us give away money. But if they're comfortable with us, they could sign a multi-year contract. So we get some revenue predictability. We're guaranteed some revenue over the length of this contract, 3-4 years. They get some cash up front. And it's turned out great. We have put out a ton of cash infusions, over $250,000 in total in the hands of small to mid-sized businesses, and we're picking up pace. So this year we're going to put out $500,000 alone, hopefully even more than that next year. And we're putting that right into the pockets of these small to mid-sized events to do what they do best, which is to add entertainment to the lives of fans out there. And it's going awesome. And I couldn't be more proud of the work that we're doing there as well. But most of that is going towards sales and marketing. So one of the cool things that we see is that a lot of these event organizers are actually doing better after they, enter this program and receive these cash infusions than they were before, because they're able to increase the quality of their event, increase the sales and marketing. And I just love seeing that. It's awesome seeing these events grow.
Yeah, it's great to also give back to the industry that's helped to build
Absolutely.
business as well. So we're joined by Alex Linebrink. He is the CEO of Passage, a new event ticketing company located in Detroit. You can visit their website, gopassage.com, for more information. Gopassage.com is their website. And as much as these businesses that you're helping, these event planners that you're helping, have reached big milestones with some of those cash infusions through Passage Capital, your company also reached a large milestone in terms of tickets sold fairly recently. Can you tell us about that milestone and what took you to get there?
Yeah, we just hit 6 million tickets sold, which is incredible. That was earlier this month, just a week or two ago that we hit that. That is a huge milestone. It's a nice round number. Honestly, it was something that we didn't really know was coming. We just checked the numbers earlier this year and we said, hey, there's actually a big milestone coming up and this is huge. Let's tell some people about it. Let's get the word out there. So I appreciate it. Thanks so much for bringing that up. And what did it take to get there? A lot of hard work. I mean, the first few years that we were in operation, we started back in 2014. The first few years, we were growing, but not that fast. But thankfully, as I mentioned, it's really taken off the last couple of years as we were able to help a lot of events through the pandemic and virtual and hybrid event technology and socially distanced event technology, and now our new NFT digital collectibles. And it's really ramping up. So of that 6 million tickets, we'll probably do about 2.5 million tickets this year alone, and probably 3.5 or 4 million tickets next year. So we're just picking up the pace. So hopefully not too far away from a big 10 million or something like that.
More information can be found on gopassage.com. That's gopassage.com. You can find them on almost all social media at GoPassage. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at GoPassage. On LinkedIn, if you want to connect with them, it's just Passage, keeping it professional. It's GoPassage everywhere else, and on LinkedIn, it's Passage. We're joined by Alex Linebrink, the CEO of Passage, on the Michigan Megacast. A couple more minutes with the Detroit business today before we'll let them go. Alex, anything else that people should know about your company that we haven't discussed yet today, or things that they should be keeping an eye out for? Maybe some exciting news coming up.
Well, I would say the biggest thing that we have coming up is something that I've just barely touched on here, but we just launched the ability to have digital collectibles, to let event organizers create digital collectibles. It might be of a moment of a game. It might be, a commemorative, time at a big concert, something like that. But it's going to be one of a kind. It's powered by blockchain NFT technology. And in a lot of cases, these will even let you into certain areas of special events and be tradable and resellable afterwards. There's a lot of cool stuff going on here. That is our newest feature that we've launched. We have a ton of great launch partners with that already. There's a Hollywood company by the name of Dangerous Pinups, and a soccer team by the name of the Denton Diablos, and just more coming. So we're excited to see these event organizers take part in a new way to engage and interact with their fans. So I'm just really excited to see where that goes. A lot of times we provide technology and we're surprised by the way our event organizers end up using it. So I can't wait to see how creative they are with this tech. So that's the latest thing we have coming up. And I'd say the only other thing is check out some local events. Go to gopassage.com, click find an event, see what's near you. You might be surprised, and also see what's available virtually, because you don't always have to attend in person, and you might not have time to drive someplace, but you still might be able to attend virtually to a local event. Yeah.
You can support local events, small business events, as well as support a business developed right here in Michigan by going to gopassage.com. Alex, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Tyler. Really appreciate the time.
GoPassage.com is their website. On social media, GoPassage on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're going to take a break on the Megacast. When we return on the Michigan side of the Megacast, we'll stay in Detroit and talk to Katrina Watkins from the Bailey Park Neighborhood Development Corporation. That's next. This is the Michigan Megacast.
Let's savor these moments. Made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the dining out going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Let's savor these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the dining out going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Let's savor these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the dining out going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Wondering what to say to someone who's been sexually assaulted or abused?
I believe you. I'm so sorry this happened.
It's not your fault.
Confidential and anonymous help is available at the Michigan Sexual Assault Hotline. Connect with us 24/7. Call 855-VOICES-4 or text 1-866-238-1454 for help. Learn more at michigan.gov/voices4. Now that the vaccine is available for children 5 and up, why do you recommend it?
Kids are part of the community and they can spread COVID.
We're seeing both healthy children getting sick from the virus as well as children with underlying health conditions.
They can easily bring the virus home to other people that are vulnerable and make them sick as well.
This vaccine can change that and keep children safe.
It's essential that your children get vaccinated to protect them, to protect your families, and to protect those in the community around you.
Welcome back to the Michigan Megacast, our live daily 1-hour show all about Michigan. I'm Tyler Kieft. To learn more about the program by visiting our website at civiccentertv.com and clicking on our Megacast link, or visiting My Michigan TV's website at mymytv.com. That's mymitv.com, where you can learn more about My Michigan TV, find all their original programming about everything happening in the state of Michigan, as well as learn more information about how you can take My Michigan TV home with you on their free smart TV app, and always have Michigan in your pocket with My Michigan TV smartphone app, also free. All that information, civiccentertv.com/megacast. With us now on the program is Katrina Watkins. She is the executive director of the Bailey Park Neighborhood Development Corporation. Katrina, appreciate you taking the time to be with us today.
Thank you, Tyler, for having me here.
Appreciate having you on. So first, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background and how you came to find the Bailey Park Neighborhood Development Corporation.
Well, I live in the Mcdougall Hunt neighborhood, located in Detroit. I'm a former therapist and teacher, and I founded Bailey Park, originally Bailey Park Project in 2013 after talking to my neighbor about the state of the neighborhood. It was kind of overgrown at that point, and I was basically just complaining about it. And she said, you know what, stop complaining. Just, start a nonprofit and do something about it. And that's where I started. So I started a nonprofit and just started doing, vacant lot cleanups just right on my street with my neighbors.
And so there's so many different ways that the Bailey Park Neighborhood Development Corporation helps support the Mcdougall Hunt community in Detroit. And so can you provide us with some insight into the services and supports that are provided to the community through this organization?
Okay. Well, we're developing a park, which is one of the major things that we're doing. We also have a community resilience hub where we provide many of our services. We do, we give away food to residents. We do monthly food boxes. Not only that, we provide hot meals to seniors and homebound people who can't get out. And maybe, we give them a food box, but they can't cook the food. So we decided to start preparing like hot meals for those residents who need that type of help. In the summertime, we did summer camp for kids. We run a savvy tech class for seniors to teach them how to stay connected. And those are the type of resources that we have. We help We help with, we have workforce development. We have a community landscaping program where we cut grass for residents and maintain vacant lots. And we also connect with other nonprofits outside of the neighborhood to help them to learn how to do the same thing and improve their neighborhood.
These programs are extensive and they're far-reaching in so many different areas that are, in some cases, really helpful to people, and others can be not just helpful but critical to their daily life and to their survival. And so I would imagine that volunteerism plays a huge role in your organization's ability to support those in the Mcdougall Hunt neighborhood and provide these services in a wide-ranging scale. Just how important are volunteers to the Bailey Park Neighborhood Development Corporation and the efforts that you're putting in to support so many people and provide these services to so many people in your community?
Well, I can't even really express how important volunteers are. We are a small organization. We have 3 employees. So having volunteers come in to provide services is really important. We're always working towards growing our list of volunteers. We've been successful at working with students and colleges, you know, with them coming in to help us to help implement certain programs. But I can't express how important it is to get people to volunteer to come into the neighborhood to provide services. It also helps us to expand, you know, our programming with volunteers. We really can't do it without volunteers.
And so what sort of volunteer opportunities are there? If people are interested, do they have to be in the Mcdougall Hunt neighborhood to be volunteering with your organization? Do they have to be in the city of Detroit?
Absolutely not. Yeah, absolutely not. We work with volunteers from all over. Of course, if people are hands-on, we're doing a lot with the environment and sustainability, with planning, with gardening. You know, we're doing a project where we're going into the neighborhood and installing downspout extensions and teaching the youth how to do that. So we also like to work with youth volunteers and youth groups who come in, but with the landscaping, with the planning, even if it's just wanting to do art, we have, you know, volunteers who come in and do art activities for youth and seniors. So it's just a variety of different ways that people can come in and volunteer and to share their skills and their knowledge.
We're joined by Katrina Watkins, the founder and executive director of the Bailey Park Neighborhood Development Corporation, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. More information can be found on volunteer opportunities, on programs, on resources, and how you can donate and support the organization at baileyparkndc.org. That's baileyparkndc.org for more information on the Bailey Park Neighborhood Development Corporation and how you can get involved and help them in everything that they're providing. And you mentioned it earlier, Bailey Park gives your monthly meal boxes, which can help people that are homebound or people that are in a situation where they're experiencing food insecurity, which we know is such a critical issue in so many places across Michigan and across the U.S. And so these services are really important to so many people. And so if someone is in the Mcdougall Hunt neighborhood and they're in need of this service, or a loved one of theirs may be in need of this service, a neighbor may be in need of this service, how can they go about signing up for this, and what sort of requirements are there in order for this service to be provided to them in this neighborhood?
Okay, well, just living in the neighborhood makes you qualify. So we don't have any type of income requirements. You can always go online to our website, which is baileyparkndc.org, baileyparkndc.org, and we have an application there that people can fill out. Everyone's not that literate or have access, so we also have a phone number. You can call us at 1-313-437-2020.
Again, that phone number, 313-437-2020, 313-437-2020. More information also available online, baileyparkndc.org. Katrina Watkins, founder and executive director of the Bailey Park Neighborhood Development Corporation, is joining us on the Michigan Megacast. And another plan that's coming down the docket too is the Mcdougall Hunt Sustainable Redevelopment Plan. Can you talk about that? Because you mentioned earlier when you were talking about some of your motivations for beginning this organization, that dealing with some of those issues and redeveloping part of your neighborhood to make it a more sustainable neighborhood, to make it the environment in that neighborhood specifically for those that are living there more more prudent to daily life. So what is this redevelopment plan, the sustainable redevelopment plan? What are the plans and how are they being executed by your organization?
Okay, so the redevelopment plan is our master plan for the neighborhood, how we want to do things, basically. So out of that implementation plan, that master plan, we have about 4 different buckets that we function out of to help us accomplish our goals. We have our open space, which focuses on the open space in the neighborhood, the vacant lots. So it's not just clearing the lots, it's beautification, helping residents to beautify their side lots, encouraging them to purchase their lots. We also have residential services, which focuses on the services that residents need. And one of those main services is home repair. So after talking to residents, we knew we need home repair. So now we have a home repair program where we assist residents with minor home repair. And we're always fundraising for that. We also have commercial, where we want to also work with the commercial corridor and see what, businesses need. How can we bring more businesses to the neighborhood? And then we have a housing bucket where we want to eventually build up density in the neighborhood. So that would be to try to bring in affordable housing into the neighborhood. So working out of those buckets, we hope to better serve residents. We also encourage residents to participate and volunteer and to be on those committees because we want to hear their voice.
And you can have your voice heard and support this organization in that capacity by going to their website, baileyparkndc.org, and selecting Become a Volunteer. That's baileyparkndc.org, or by calling their phone number 313-437-2020. That's 313-437-2020 for more information and how you can get involved in many of the great programs that they are enacting in the Mcdougall Hunt neighborhood and in the surrounding area. Katrina, for those out in the community that are hearing this and maybe learning about the Bailey Park NDC for the first time and are as interested as I am in this and are as compelled as I am in this, or as others may be, and they want to get involved, they want to help the organization, what are the best ways that people in the community that may be watching this or listening to this can support your organization?
Well, they can always support with the donation. It's great, but we always love people to come in and volunteer. They can support. Saturday, we're having an event. It's our first annual Beautification Day. We're not only cleaning and refreshing Bailey Park, we're going to be doing minor home repair throughout the neighborhood, planting flowers for seniors, and just making our neighborhood beautiful. We do that monthly, not this big day, but we do a cleanup every month. We do something in the neighborhood, and we're always looking for volunteers for that. And people can volunteer in so many different ways. It's not like you have to clean up. Sometimes it could just be kind of sitting at the registration table, helping us register people for events. We have fun events, too, that we're always looking for volunteers to help with.
The Mcdougall Hunt Beautification Day, Saturday, May 21st, 9 a.m. to 12 noon. That's Saturday, May 21st, 9 a.m. to 12 noon. You can register for the event to lend a hand or get a hand on their website, baileyparkndc.org. That's baileyparkndc.org. And again, for those without access to the internet, you could also inquire about this event and other events through the Bailey Park Neighborhood Development Corporation by calling their phone number 313-437-2020. That's 313-437-2020. Katrina, just another couple minutes with you before we'll say goodbye. Anything else that we haven't touched on about your organization today that would be important for our audience to know or to be considering at this time?
We touched on everything, but I would say it's really important, if you can, to make a donation. We are funded through grants, and we're always fundraising so that we can continue to do the good work in the neighborhood and throughout the city of Detroit that we do.
Katrina, thank you so much for joining us.
Okay, thank you for having me.
Appreciate having her on. You can find more information on the Bailey Park Neighborhood Development Corporation by visiting shareddetroit.org and looking them up. They're one of over 300 charities and nonprofits supported on the Shared Detroit platform. Once again, shareddetroit.org for more information. We appreciate having them on the program today. You can also find more information on Katrina's nonprofit, the Bailey Park Neighborhood Development Corporation, by visiting their website at baileyparkndc.org. Bailey Park ND as in Delta, C as in Charlie.org. That is going to do it for this Monday edition of the Oakland County and Michigan Megacast. I want to thank everybody that joined us on today's edition of the program. We had a great program on this Monday, and we thank everybody who joined us on the show. Shaun Hayes, the executive director of the Paint Creek Center for the Arts in Rochester. Carrie Krawiec from the Birmingham Maple Clinic. David Zinn, an artist who you'll see at this year's Ann Arbor Art Fair. Alex Linebrink, CEO of Passage Ticketing Company, as well as our final guest today, Katrina Watkins from the Bailey Park Neighborhood Development Corporation. You can find all these interviews on our website sometime mid to late afternoon today on civiccentertv.com by clicking on the Megacast link there. You'll also find more information by clicking through links to each and every one of our partnering TV, radio, and web outlets that join us every day to learn more about the programming they do in the 22 other hours of the day that they're not with us for both the Oakland County and the Michigan Megacasts. civiccentertv.com/Megacast. We also encourage you to go to our website at civiccentertv.com and click on our local news link, where you'll find links immediately at the top of the page to the CDC, the MDHHS, and the Oakland County Health Division's COVID-19 specific web pages to keep you up to date on everything you need to know about the pandemic, including the spread of the virus in your community, precautions you may want to be taking each and every day in your daily life or in certain situations, and of course, if you're in need of vaccines or booster shots, where you can find them in your local area. civiccentertv.com/local-news. Also on that page, you'll find articles from across Oakland County and around the state of Michigan, keeping you up to date on COVID-19 and other stories making headlines here in the Great Lakes State. Once again, civiccentertv.com. Megacast link for all things about this program, all of our interviews, all of our full episodes on demand, and to learn more about our partners, and our local news page to keep up to date on COVID-19 and other top stories all across this great state of Michigan you and I love so much. Big thank you as well to our crew for making this program possible 5 days a week, live to tape. Jared Clark, our director, and Calvin Brown, our technical director and Zoom producer on today's edition of the program, as well as Larry Nyland, the king of television himself, our producer, booking all the guests and helping both them and us get ready to have informative conversations on a number of different topics in a variety of different subject matters each and every day. He does a great job and is very much helpful to us and our guests, helping everybody get prepared for each edition of the Megacast. On My Michigan TV, coming up next, it's Steve Lato live, followed by Larry and Ronnie live. We will return on Tuesday with a new edition of both the Oakland County and the Michigan Megacasts.